All right, we're good. We're on. Good morning, everyone. Oh, we got a phone call. Good morning, WVBF.
Good morning, it's Lester Smith calling a bit late.
Hi, Lester. How are you?
Well, as I said, I'm fine, except that I got a bit late. It's early in the morning for me. I'm happy to be on the phone with you.
All right, awesome. We're going to be on in about a few minutes here. I'm playing in news. So we're going to be on in just a few minutes. We have a little thing I want to do for my uncle, a poem that I want to read real quick, and then I will introduce you.
Yeah, well, I'll just wait.
All right.
Morning, Lester. This is Don. How you doing?
I'll wait.
Good morning, Lester. How you doing? This is Don.
I couldn't hear that.
No, I'm just saying good morning. This is Don, Joey's dad. How you doing this morning?
Don, okay.
Good morning.
Talk with Don now.
Yep. How you doing?
Yeah, okay. I was say I'm a couple of minutes late. I apologize for that.
Oh, that's all right. We haven't gone on yet. That's fine. Thank you.
We're still working okay. Good.
Good.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yep, I can hear you clearly.
Good.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Middleboro in Review. Today is the 20th of June, 2021, and as of 11:32 this morning, it will be summer. So I'm excited about that. I want to read a poem real quick. This week, I lost my uncle, who was an avid lobster trap seller, and he also loved the sea quite a lot. And I want to read this poem. The sweet smell of the sea draws you in to set your soul free. The taste of the water is like no other, like a wind-swept wave that you honor. To be one with your craft to a steady sea brings dreams and reflections only you can see. To put your mind in a sacred trust, guarantee life and laughter for all of us. To see the shore that is calling you, the light in the distance will always get you through. That is a little poem. We're going to miss him a lot. All right, so 7:08 a.m. today on the show, we have a guest. His name is Lester Smith. He is the curator of the King House Museum in Connecticut, Suffield, Connecticut, and we are going to talk to him right now. Good morning, Lester. How are you this morning?
Yeah, we did the tour a few weeks ago. That was a fascinating tour as far as the museum, and as far as Suffield's history on tobacco was pretty amazing as far as what you had for all that. Yeah, and you said you were to ride on that wagon we saw, the one that was in the shed, correct? That's going to be in the parade.
But about town in those years, it's kind of ironic because the personal products about town in those years were cigars, and we were well known for that. And several big cigar makers, a few of them, made a lot of money, and that resulted in a very nice neighborhood of mansions along our Main Street. But I've never smoked in my life, so it's ironic to have to consider that as part of our history. But I intend to ride shotgun on that wagon behind the horse. I'm not going to drive it because I have no idea how to handle the horse. But I will enjoy the experience. And happy those to the folks in town who are watching on parade.
So another thing I want to talk about is a little bit about the museum. So the museum is called the King's House Museum. Who is that named after? Tell us a little bit about him and his family.
Alexander King's house the house was built for him by his cousin, Elizabeth King, who fought in the Revolution. And he was a representative of our town in the General Assembly in Hartford. So attack in Lexington and Concord, our town sent the largest contingent of soldiers to help in Boston. And Alexander wanted to go, but he was on the Hartford to serve in the in town, and was also a major citizen in many ways. So in the very first census of the country in 1790, the first 5 names in the census list are not people that live in a particular neighborhood, but the 5 most principal people in town, and Alexander King was among those 5. So happy to have our house named the King House Museum and talk about Alexander King's history. He had some children, one particular one who became a painter and did a little bit of work. One of his paintings was hung in the American Antiquarian Society in Worcester. But we enjoy showing people how people used to live in that area, and his house was one of the homes along Main Street. Not a grand mansion, but a fine, standard center chimney colonial house, and that's our museum.
Yeah, that was a nice little museum. And you've been there how long? When did you start curating?
Well, I retired from my employment. I worked for, I did something that very few people do anymore. My entire working career after college was for one employer, and we were in the business of making airplane propellers. Toward the end, the company had branched into other products, so I'll say that my work, except for a few months that I spent on other products, my work was a research engineer working in airplane propellers. And I retired in 1987 and was immediately recruited to become the volunteer curator of the museum. What would that be, about 34 years ago? It amazes me that I'm still doing it.
That's a whole other career. That's what most people do, and they're
Almost as long as I worked.
yeah, pretty.
For a salary.
All right, yeah.
Fortunately, I was able to have some investments, and I'm managing. I never thought I'd have to slow myself for this long.
Right.
I don't live a very extravagant life, and it's worked out.
It's funny too because you mentioned that your father was he worked for the railroad, and you were a railroad family through and through as far as the railroad, every aspect of it.
It turns out that he was a good deal older than me. He was old enough to be my grandfather. But when I moved to Suffield from New Haven, where I was brought up, and then I lived in Hartford for 2 years when I first worked for United Aircraft, and then moved to Suffield when the company built its new factory in a neighboring town. But when I came up here, my father said, well, that's interesting because when I was a young man, I designed the railroad bridge that carried the main line of the New Haven Railroad north across the Connecticut River that goes from Suffield to Enfield across the river. So he had designed that bridge, and the bridge is still there. It is still there now, although it's in poor shape, and the railroad says we have to fix it as part of our infrastructure repairs.
Right, but that's the only.
It's a coincidence that he had designed the very bridge that still connects Suffield with the other side of the river to the railroad.
It's amazing.
Because of his heritage, and because we were both bald, I like to wear my engineer's cap.
It's amazing that the old infrastructure is hanging on these days because things that are built these days don't last. And I believe that's the only crossing for. That's one of the only crossings as far as the main line is that Connecticut River is there. I know there's a crossing in Middleton up north of, and I think there might be a few more that I know of, but I'm not really from Connecticut. But that's the main line pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The crossings, the crossings further south across the Connecticut River, the main line that goes there's two routes to Boston from Hartford, no, from New Haven, or even from New York. There's two main routes to Hartford. Two main routes to Boston, and one is a shoreline route, and the other departs from the shoreline and goes from New Haven to Hartford to Springfield, and then across to Boston.
Right.
And both of those were considered Boston Post roads. Now, of course, that word got used only for US Route 1 along the shoreline.
Right, yeah, I get it. Joey?
One other topic that we talked about when we met with you was the Southwick Jog, or the
in Massachusetts, Southwick, for 2 miles into a notch of land. It's a notch in the border of Connecticut. So that little 2 miles by 2 miles notch, it's not quite rectangular, but it's about that size. It sticks down into Connecticut and has an interesting history. We like to call it the Southwick, Connecticut, the Southwick Notch. And one of our economic development folks in town decided that they have a slogan calling something a top-notch town, referring to that notch. But mostly it's called the Southwick Jog. And the history is that there was a confusion as to where the state line was in the old days when surveying was not a real skill. And Suffield as a town was settled originally as a southern extension of Springfield, which predated Suffield by a generation, and got to the point where they wanted to settle more lands, and a rather major entrepreneur in Springfield, who became a military leader as well, he arranged to make a deal with the Indians to the south of Springfield, and organized the settlement of our town in 1670. So we were organized and settled out of Massachusetts, and we're part of the county of Massachusetts. A lot of our early town records whether in the county headquarters or the counties have changed a little bit. But it was soon discovered that that really wasn't right. But Boston, Massachusetts anyway, argued about it, and they sent some surveyors. I guess those predated and before 1670, when there were confusions as to where the line was. But the King's grant to Massachusetts was a grant of land extending from the Boston area and the bay there, extending west between 2 lines of latitude and extending a long, narrow strip to what the King's Charter said was the South Sea. He meant by that the Pacific Ocean. And the northern boundary was 3 miles north of the northernmost point of the Merrimack River. Well, they didn't realize that the Merrimack River came from the north, and that didn't work out very well. I don't know whether there were any real arguments there on the north side, but the line generally was along that line of latitude. On the south side, it was 3 miles south of the southernmost point of the Charles River. And the folks found a point that they decided was a point of the Charles River, and measured 3 miles south of that, and took a sight on the latitude by sighting on the sun, and then sailed around, as the overland travel was so difficult in those years, sailed around and up the Connecticut River, and got to a spot that they said was the same latitude, and that was in the town of Windsor, Connecticut now, and became the southernmost boundary of Suffield. So they had this little area where Suffield was part of Massachusetts, and a town in Springfield that was west of Springfield, called Westfield, extended down and overlapped the boundary a little bit. So Suffield was along the river and headed out, and this neighbor of the west was an extension of Massachusetts coming down to another town, and the two towns were both in Massachusetts. So folks in Connecticut, I always like to say that they decided the climate was better in Connecticut than in Massachusetts. But really, it was more a matter of legislation and taxes and things like that. And Connecticut early on decided that they really ought to own Suffield as well. And the folks in Suffield agreed. And quite early, there were arguments about that later in the 1600s. But it wasn't until the early 1700s that the deal got settled in an odd way. And the deal at that time was, well, we'll leave Suffield and the town across the river, Enfield, we'll leave them both in Massachusetts, but you give us some compensatory land out there in the unsettled areas of western Massachusetts. And Connecticut was given land west of Northampton, and ended up selling the land for cash in 1712, which they gave to help the settlement of a new college, it was an upstart college competing with Harvard, called Yale. Well, it got to be called Yale anyway. And things were that way for a little while. But still, the folks in Suffield said, we really want to be part of Connecticut. And that finally got settled in 1749. But it left that little piece of Massachusetts sticking down from a town of Westfield. And the southern end of Westfield separated away from the rest of Westfield because it got too big. And that was Southwick, Massachusetts, and still had its 2 miles south end sticking down into Connecticut. And the exact amount of that jog now became the controversy, and just exactly where was the boundary between Southwick and Suffield. So the settlement was made there. The boundary with Suffield would be the eastern shore of a series of small lakes called the Condiment Lakes on the western boundary of Suffield and the eastern boundary of the South Lake. And the way it was phrased was odd. It turned out that the boundary was the eastern shore of the lake. The Massachusetts people wanted to preserve that lake because they needed it for irrigation, and they wanted to make sure that it wasn't drained into Connecticut. Well, it lasted that way, and still is that way, with one small difference. And the small difference is that the water level in Condiment now is a little higher than it was in the days when the final boundary was settled in the early 1800s. So the shoreline moved, the actual shoreline moved up into Connecticut now, and there's a little strip of water that is Connecticut before you get where you go swimming. You wade through a few feet of Connecticut water before you swim in Massachusetts water. That was no problem because there's nobody worried about who paid taxes on swimming. It got to be a problem with boats, though, because anybody who had a boat from one of the cottages in Suffield that above the lake, people who had boats had to register their boats in Massachusetts. And they got along that way. They built docks going out from their homes, and they began to get tax bills for the dock out into the lake. And that's still something of an issue.
Yeah, that must be kind of crazy on that list.
Situation.
Yeah, that's crazy because, like you said, the interview that I watched, that boat registrations in Massachusetts, the dock fees in Massachusetts, but the taxes go to the towns.
There's a wonderful organization that got started quite a few years ago called Citizens Restoring Conduit. And the purpose there was to raise some money and do the work of keeping the algae down in the lake, getting it treated and paying for like chemical treatments once in a while to reduce the algae, and also to enforce the school regulations of the people who have boats out on the lake, and they continue to do some good things and some very good things. And it's still a joint organization with members from both sides of the boundary and those states. The confusion of those boundaries, however, gave rise to a claim that the folks in Southwick make. The Southwick Historical Society has a historic house museum of their own that's in the jog, because the principal, the jog is in the town of Southwick, and they claim that particular house was, I forget the exact number, but it's been in 2 different states and several different counties as the name's changed, and the folks who lived there had at one point when Connecticut was trying to claim all of it, they were considered part of Connecticut. However, the first map of the United States shows that I'm straight and doesn't recognize the jog.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that must be a crazy deed to look at in that house, because you go from Massachusetts, then boom, the boundaries move over and whatnot. That's crazy. Right. That's funny. That's funny. I didn't think of that. Wow, that's something. Joey?
There is one more thing I want to talk about, because we only have about 2 or 3 minutes before I gotta take a break. One other thing is, what, as the historical person in the town of Suffield, what do you want to say to maybe a traveler who will come to Suffield? What places to visit?
We have one characteristic in Suffield which is interesting. On the eastern edge of Suffield, along the river, we have a canal that goes from a little bit south of Suffield to near the northern boundary of Suffield. And that canal was a short canal, 5 miles long, to bypass shallow water on the Connecticut River. Transatlantic shipping could come across the ocean and sail up the river and get as far as a spot that became known as Warehouse Point, which was where the larger ships had to stop, take their loads off, and transfer them into barges that could be pushed up across the shallow water when there wasn't enough water in the river to do that in certain seasons. But travel over land was very difficult in those years, and railroads hadn't been invented yet. So most good transportation was done with water, and sailing was done from water, which is why the inner towns of straight out of Massachusetts were on the Connecticut River, and similarly the ones that were on the shore of Long Island Sound in Connecticut were on the Connecticut River. But that canal was built in response to a separate canal that went across the western edge of Suffield, so that's our second canal. That canal went from New Haven all the way to Northampton, Massachusetts, and it was done to bypass the shipping that went up the Connecticut River to the ports of Middletown and Hartford, and New Haven needed to be a better commercial center, and the folks down in New Haven raised some money to make a canal to compete with the shipping that came up to Middletown and Hartford. So the people in Connecticut and we used to take their road down and get across the shallows and Suffield. Well, we can improve things here by building a short canal to get around the rapids. But two canals were built almost at the same time in competition with each other. The Northampton Canal, what often in our state is called the Farmington Canal, because it goes through the town of Farmington. But that didn't last very long, partly because it kept getting sabotaged by farmers in southern portions who didn't want to compete with cheaper goods coming down from the north. But mainly what happened is that the railroad developed, and the route of the canal became the route of a railroad line. And that railroad through Suffield now is a very good level bicycle ride, so it's called a rail trail. The Winter Rocks Canal, though, continued in use for many years, and the railroad didn't replace that because the canal eventually served another function. Because it was created by a dam on the Connecticut River to raise the water up above the rapids, the south end of the canal got to be about 20 feet above the river. And that became a wonderful source of water power. And of course, before steam became common, water was the source of power, water wheels and turbines. So the canal bank became rather wide in the south end, in that corner of Windsor, and became a major industrial city like Holyoke and Lawrence. The town grew around the canal, and that area became such a place where people lived close together, and houses that served these factories. The end of Windsor spun off and became a town called Windsor Rocks. It still flourishes, but not so much for the canal anymore. There's only one industry left on the canal bank, and it gets power from other sources as well as the canal. But that industry owns the canal still, because they wanted to preserve their water, even though the canal locks have been out of function for quite a few decades.
I want to thank you quite a lot for being on the show today. I won't keep you the whole hour. I want to thank you for all the great information about the area and the Southwick Jog and all that information.
And that tour you gave us a few weeks ago was great. I mean, that was a nice 2-hour tour. I mean, awesome. Hopefully we'll come by and visit you some Saturday again, if that's all right. All right. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lester, for calling in today.
Lester Smith, yeah, okay.
Lester Smith.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Lester Smith, the curator of the King's Museum in Suffield, Connecticut. Had a great conversation with him. A lot of great topics.
And we took the tour two weeks ago on your birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah, June 5th.
Yeah, great
And,
museum.
The museum's awesome. It's in Suffield, Connecticut, and he pretty much takes care of himself. Lester's 93 years old, and oh my God, the guy is full of life, and he likes his history, and he's really detailed. Yeah, you want a detailed tour, and I like details myself. I like the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, I like the detailed tours as well.
And as far as the museum, all the furnitures and the pictures and stuff like that. And also they have like a cigar museum too in the back, which he had a lot to do with creating on his watch, his tenure, as far as he still is. So it was excellent.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review. Today is June 20th, 2021. Ooh, 7:38. Okay.
Yeah.
No PSAs. Except the one that I'm gonna play. Which is this one.
I just follow the log, dude. Follow the log to the letter. You have to. Just watch it, right?
I think there's situations where you can just play the sponsored spots if you run out of time.
Well, it's hard to.
It's really hard.
It's hard to convince people to get off the phone. You know what I mean? He doesn't know. He's used to doing 3-hour tours. I knew that we'd run into this problem, but what do you do?
Serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
Williams Trading Post, serving the residents of Middleboro since 1949, is a proven garden center. Promo, even though I can talk about it on the. That's alright.
They sell garden supplies, fruit trees, hanging baskets, and much more. They are open Monday to Wednesday, 10 to 5.
Alright, let's see. Find a couple of quick little topics to talk about here. Alright, I know exactly. A couple of small topics, and then we'll take another commercial break to get the other commercials in there.
Yeah, do the weather or no?
No, no, we have to.
Let's just Smith again and get on.
Yeah.
Join us for informative interviews and fun information about birds and birding. It's Talking Birds, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9, here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair and complete auto service for your car. They are a direct repair shop for all major insurance companies. You should reach them at 508-583-1495. They are open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4 on Fridays. Call them today. You will not be disappointed. 508-583-1495.
Hi, this is Jim Ryan. Hope you can join me every Sunday from noon to 2 o'clock here on WBBF, the sounds of the Emerald Isle. We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live singers in the studio. And to make you laugh, some Irish comedy. That's Sundays from noon to 2 right here on WBBF, 1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
Hear that. And welcome back to Middleboro in Review. It's 7:42 a.m. Currently, here, June 20th, 2021. What's coming up after today's show? Well, we have Bread of Life. It is Father's Day, by the way. So everyone, hope everyone's going to have a great Father's Day today. So we'll have a Father's Day program from Bread of Life at 8:30. We're going to have the Rosary at 9 o'clock. We will have Talking Birds. 9:30, Keys of the Kingdom. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock will be All on God with Edna Isaac. At 11 o'clock, Musical Odyssey. And at noon will be Sounds of the Emerald Isle. And finally, Stand Up Strong at 12. I mean, not 12. At 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. So,
And both of those guys are back in the studio.
and both of them are back in the
Ed
studio.
and Tony are back in the studio, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's talk about a couple of quick things here. The Oliver House will be offering tours every Wednesday and Saturday this summer. They'll be open for a 1-hour tour of the house and grounds. From now until September the 1st, tours will be offered every hour, with the first tour beginning at noon, the last hour beginning at 3. Each designated tour time lasts 1 hour. Tickets are $5 per person, can be purchased at the door or at Eventbrite. For more details about the event and reserve your ticket, please visit oliverestate.eventbrite.com. For questions, contact Middleboro Tourism at discovermiddleboro@gmail.com. Visit the Oliver House Facebook page at facebook.com, Oliver House MA, or call 774-766-6335. The Oliver House is located at 445 Plymouth Street, which is in Middleboro. All right, so that is going to be all summer long. You go check out the Oliver House. All right, we have the summer reading. So we are in the first day of summer, pretty much. Right around noon today will be the first day of summer, and the summer of 2021 is looking brighter than summer has ever looked before. And we're bringing you fun challenges you've been waiting for. The Tales and Tales summer reading program kicks off tomorrow, June 21st, with all ages outdoor family fun and games day on the lawn of the Middleboro Historical Association behind the Foreign Police Station on Jackson Street, anytime between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. So anytime between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. that day, stop by with your kids, your grandkids, your parents, and everyone else to try out one of our outdoor games. Pick out a book to take home or have a treat from Mama Deb's food truck. Rain date will be Tuesday, June 22nd. The kickoff event will also feature Silly Faces with Sarah and her balloon animals, a story walk at the Early Childhood Center, Memorial Early Childhood Center, and much more. The program will run through August the 26th. All tracking of reading and activities this summer will be made online through the Beanstack platform. You can access it at the library website. So that will be running all the way until August the 26th of 2021. All right. There will be a 4th of July parade, July 3rd. That is coming up here very soon. July 3rd at 10 a.m., starting at the Pratt Free School. Everyone is welcome to participate. Walkers, animals, bicycles, families, floats, musicians, tractors, and much more. Participants should sign in at the Pratt Free School at 9 a.m. For those who come to cheer the marchers on, this is a parade only. This is the only parade you can see twice, since it travels down Plymouth Street, turns around at Tittigate Street, and returns to the Pratt Free School directly following the parade as well. So July 3rd, 10 a.m., there will be a parade. Definitely go out to see it, because there will be a lot of great floats on that day. And we're also going to have the carnival as well. I don't have the dates with me today, but I will mention them next week. We're going to have the carnival coming up very soon as well. So that's coming back this year as well. Crazy Days will not be back this year, but will return for 2022. Okay, let's do sports real fast. Here, 7:48 a.m. currently here. So today, 2:10 p.m., the Red Sox continue their series with the Royals. They finished their series with the Royals. And then they take on the Rays tomorrow. Nope, not tomorrow. Tuesday. And on Wednesday, 7:10 p.m., first pitch times for those games. Red Sox are doing very well here. So hope that will continue within the next couple of games. They're 43-28 currently. So let's hope that continues. All right, weather. I don't want to forget to do that. In Taunton, 67 degrees. With a high of 89 today. It will be hot. Yesterday it was very hot. It will be hot again today. 89 for the high, 65 for the low. 83 tomorrow, 67 for the low. In Middleboro, 68, 88 for the high, 84 tomorrow. Driscoll, North Dakota, currently 58 and rain. 70 for the high today and raining. 43 for the low. Driscoll, North Dakota. Driscoll, Texas, 78 degrees. 91 for the high. 94 tomorrow. That's in Driscoll, Texas. All right, 7:50. We're going to take another commercial break, get caught up with our commercials. And when we come back, we will have the Today in History. We'll have some time to talk about Today in History. We'll be right back. Boom.
Geronimo Landscape Supply, located at 457 Wareham Street in Middleboro, Massachusetts, just off of Route 28 and 495. Is the
Great
place to
interview.
go. All your landscape
Had to switch over to tune in to hear it.
mulch,
Who's that?
firewood,
Scott.
granite,
It was listed as the Gospel Hour. Yeah. I think it's wrongly listed. I think there's several programs that are wrongly listed on the TuneIn app
and schedule.
when it comes to WBBF.
The COVID-19 vaccines can be our chance to get back to our plans, who we are, what we miss, to get back to each other, to life.
Oh, he's 93 years old, you know?
No, that's fine. I wanted a really good interview, and we got it.
I'm saying,
we got it.
you know, just speaking, you know, it's probably not the best.
No, that's fine. We got a good interview. You know, I can catch up on the ads. You know, I've plenty of time to do that. We're gonna do Today in History. Finish off the
Next
show.
time, do it in the last half hour, I'd say. Because
Yeah, probably.
it's all kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah.
At least you can get one out of your way. And
At least I got the commercials out of the
Right,
way.
and then,
So
and then you let the guy know, look, I have to take so keep that in mind, okay?
yeah,
All right, I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. Yeah.
You gotta
Veteran
move on, but
Motorcycle Association.
he was out of it. He called. He was just woke up. He just woke up. He just crawled out of bed.
Armed Forces.
In the morning, guy.
Motorcycles as a hobby.
You can tell when he first called, he was a little out of it.
Support those who have
Yeah.
defended our country and freedoms.
Well,
Our focus
neither am I. I'm not a morning guy
facilities
either. So
Yeah, whatever.
clothing, shelter, and
Well, you better learn to stop being a morning guy in this business,
thank
too.
you and welcome
Or you do something else.
members from nearly all
Be a
50
bartender or
states
something,
and
I don't
living
know.
abroad.
no,
Many members continue to serve in our
that's why I have
with several
that's why I have iced coffee.
areas now.
Iced coffee is a
participate
valuable
in
thing.
many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
St. Vincent de Paul of Sacred Heart Church in Middleboro serves the residents of the towns of Middleboro, Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester. Our base of operations is in the lower level of the parish hall on Oak Street, directly across the street from Sacred Heart Church.
What do we have for next week's program?
At this time,
Yeah, we got a lot for next week's program.
families in our service area, and many of them come to us for various types of aid. This can take
Yeah.
many forms and include many of the following programs: utilities and rent assistance, agency referrals,
I think
clothing and furniture.
next week's program we'll do like an update on South Coast
For
Rail.
more information, go to
It's been a couple weeks they talked about South Coast Rail.
middleboro.org. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
Well, there we go. Alright, let's get that back up. Alright. 6:54. I mean, not 6:54, 7:54. And we are back here on Middleboro in Review. It is the 20th of June, 2021, again. We have about 6 minutes left in the show. Let's talk about today in history. 1782, the U.S. Congress adopts the Great Seal of the United States. That's an interesting one. Dad, what are your thoughts on that? Let's say 1782, the U.S. Congress adopted the Great Seal of the United States.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know, it's majestic. The seal, it really is.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it has that majestic look, and
wow,
it's a really nice
They
seal.
did that early, even before the Articles. They worked on the Articles of Confederation at that time. So before the states were even the states. You know, for the first state, Delaware, I think, became a state in 1787. I think it was, wasn't it? I hope I'm right on that.
Another
I
interesting.
didn't cheat on that one. I think it was 1787 was the first, but I'm saying it's before the states were ratified.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Another interesting today in history, we have 1893. Lizzie Borden is acquitted of the murders of her father and stepmother.
local girl.
Yeah, Fall River.
Yeah.
Fall River. Yep. There's the Lizzie Borden house in Fall River.
Yeah.
A lot of people go there.
It's tiny, but that's what they had, tiny houses back then.
Yes.
There was a movie made by Lizzie Borden with Elizabeth Montgomery. It was she did a really good job on it. I'm sure there's other movies made, but that's the only movie that really stuck out in my head. I think they did that like in the maybe early 90s or late 80s.
That's 1975. Not 1775. 1975. The film Jaws is released in the United States, becoming the highest grossing film of that time and starting the trend of films known as summer blockbusters. That was a legendary
I'll tell you a story.
film.
I'll tell you a story about that. I was living down in Marshfield, down Brent Rock at the time, and my stepbrother Robbie, he was 75. He had a license at the time, right? So, we'll hound him to go see Jaws. So I'll take you to see Jaws. So we all hop in the car, and we're all excited. And we get there to Hanover, and guess what? Sold out. So I didn't see it. I don't remember. I didn't see it until I moved up here. I didn't see it until like 1979. I don't think I ever seen the movie theater because we went to go see it that one time and it was sold out and we never had a chance to see it again. We were on, like I said, we were on the way. I think remember it was just about when it came out.
Yeah, it was a supremely important film when it comes to. I'd call it a horror film.
Oh yeah.
It was a supremely important film to the horror genre and to the summer blockbusters.
And Steven Spielberg did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what his first movie was, right? Steven Spielberg's first movie was?
I believe it was Duel.
Duel with Dennis Weaver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And that's a kind of a horror movie about the truck. And anybody my age who grew up watching Channel 56, that movie was always on. It was always on. You could count on being like every 3 months it was on. So that's why I saw it. And just the way he did the movie, just the way he positioned the truck and where the truck would show up. The guy would go around the corner and the truck would be waiting for him. And it was this old 1949 auto car, rusted out. It's just, and that was like horror.
Yes.
Without really, it was like a less is more kind of horror in a way. They didn't need all the special effects. You know, with horror, the special effects to me, I think ruined it.
Yeah.
That was like more.
There's a film that kind of reminds me of. This is a little. The movie Duel was only with one truck. This movie that I want to talk about, Maximum Overdrive, was with every truck.
Right.
Every truck.
Yeah, that was like the same idea. But
it was the same kind of
I liked
idea.
the movie, but it was just, to me, it was a good movie. I'm not saying it was a good movie, but it's just too busy.
Yeah, too much.
It's just too
I think
busy.
there was too much going on in that film too.
Yes.
A lot of outside sources.
The only reason I say that now, Joey, is because I grew up watching Duel, like, constantly. Yeah. So I was horrified just by the truck. You know, you come around the corner and the truck will be waiting for him, like, with the light, you know, and then he'll put his lights on, and then the music. It was brilliant. It was terrifying. It was a terrifying movie without blood and guts. And the only thing that really happened is the truck went over the cliff.
All right, real quick. Birthdays. Brian Johnson, American singer-songwriter, producer, born on this day in 1942. 1952, John Goodman, one half of the Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I love John Goodman. I love him.
Yeah, he was great in that film.
Yeah.
And finally, Kelly Johnson, 1958, born on this day. Hard rock guitarist and songwriter for the band Girls School. So that will do it for today's program. Hope everyone enjoyed.
Stay tuned for all the programming after this.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of great programming today.
Yep.
On this Father's Day. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great week. Yep.
Broadcasting live from the Taunton Federal Credit Union Studios at 14 Church Green, we are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleboro, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleboro Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
That's the first time I've heard you call him Dad on the air. Oh, I didn't even realize I did that. Did I?
Was that Scott?
Did I call you Dad?
No, I didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it either. But I have.
Is that Scott?
Before, yes.
Yeah,
it's Scott, yeah.
Hope you're feeling better, buddy.
I have before a couple of times, Scott. Like 3 or 4 times.
Little guy.
I hope you're feeling better, Scott, as well. And everyone else, join me next week, June 27th, 2021, and for another Middleboro Review. Bye-bye, everybody.